Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the final word. We've been waiting 7 years for this final word. 7 years we've been waiting to do this final word. We've been waiting 11 years to have any kind of glory, and we've been waiting nearly 22 years to talk about a win at Anfield for the Toffees. And how delicious does it feel? How just like the air just feels a little bit nicer. It's suddenly gone sunny outside. Warm. Sunday felt like the day was so much longer. Everything just feels a little bit better. Just a little bit better. It got announced, the roadmap today got announced for how we're coming out of lockdown. It just feels like the world become a better place on Saturday night. It just feels like everything got a little bit better, Baz.
Bit lighter. It's that feeling of contentment, isn't it? It's so weird. So weird to just be like, that was nice. Yeah. What a result. Feels great. And it was a big game and we won it. And it was a big game because obviously we haven't won there for so long, but the actual context of the game and what it means in the season to stay in there for the fight for Europe and whatever, everything else, it was a huge win. But I'd forgot what this feeling felt like, I'm not going to lie. It's been ridiculously long. But it feels amazing, and I'd like lots more of it. Thanks.
It does. This is what it must feel like to win important games of football. Or this is what it does feel like to win important games of football. Because, as you said, not only a win, but a win to take us level on 40 points, keep us in the hunt for European football, which whatever that might be. Just like, I don't know, just that being able to say you've overcome something which has been hanging over us for years. Yeah. Just that thing of bed sheets with 1999 and that kind of thing. Just it's I listen. There's been a lot of talk since the win about celebrations and being over the top about it, but I just don't think you can be over the top about it because it's not. It means no one will understand. They'd certainly not understand the importance of mentally. Some grown men we've never seen us win at Anfield. You're talking about kids in their teens would never have remembered winning a Merseyside derby. And you've got now kids who will have seen their heroes, the people they love, go and win a game of football at Anfield, and how important that is. And be able to go. I mean, I'd love to be able to say they can go into school. Obviously, they can't go into school. They can Zoom their mates in the playground. But mentally, seeing at the end how important it is to the club and to those players. Duncan Ferguson, people like that, people who've had to live with the scars for so long. And listen, if other people want to write it off as, just another game or whatever, that's up to them. But it's not another game. It's not another game. It's one of the most important games for us, and to break through that hoodoo and now start with a clean slate is, I think, massively important for everyone at the football club.
Yeah, you can't. All this you shouldn't celebrate and over-celebrate, nonsense. I still remember when Mane scored in the 95th minute, those celebrations went on for about 6 months till we played the next one. They had songs out about it, and they had t-shirts and jumpers out about it the Christmas later, and there was when Pickford threw the Origi one in, the manager's running around the pitch like he's won the World Cup, which is fine. It's a derby and it was an important moment, so I don't think you can turn around and have a go at people to celebrate. That's where we are now. You don't celebrate big results
anymore.
You
can't do anything anymore.
So, to me, it's a huge win. It's a big thing. Remember when they celebrated the draw with West Brom? And I know, listen, we've heard all the explanations for it. It was to show this and it was to show that. But they drew with West Brom. And they'd done it for a reason. Well, Saturday was a big thing for us. We haven't won there for 2 decades. We were young men. Last time we won there. We haven't done it for 2 decades. Evertonians have gone to that ground consistently every year and seen us draw sometimes, seen us blow opportunities to win it, seen us be hammered there. We've seen the whole spectrum. And so for us to go there and wipe that slate clean this year and just go, it's a big thing. You know, you look back and go, I mean, Liverpool have only won once at Goodison in 8 years or something, 9 years. So, you know, both teams haven't lost many home games in that time. But for Everton, we haven't won. I think it's only the 6th time we've won in my lifetime at Anfield.
6, it is 6, yeah.
So, that's ridiculous as in that. So, but what I would say was when Graham Sharp scored that volley in '84, we hadn't won for 14 years. We then won 3 seasons on the run there. So, because it is a vital thing. It's an important thing. The third, before anyone tried to correct me, the 3rd season was the League
Cup one, no,
Gary Stevens. So it's a big thing of getting it out your mind and going. You've seen the players, big games. It was built up. Can they do it? The bottlers, the this, the that, the other, and coming off the back of Fulham and obviously Manchester City. It was a huge win and it was a big game as well. It wasn't just a derby where they were 35 points ahead of us and we just somehow scrambled to win. It was a fantastic performance. And it was a big result because there was a lot on the game. There was a huge amount. They hadn't lost 4 home games on the run for 98 years or something. Everyone was saying it can never happen. It can never happen. Liverpool wouldn't lose that. People lost their heads when the team came out and stuff like that before. And so there was a lot of factors going into that. And those players have achieved something. Whether it's not a cup and it wouldn't be celebrated like a cup, but it's a big win because of it means a lot to win these games. And this season now we've won at Tottenham where we hadn't won for ages. We've won at Anfield, you know, we've had a good result at Leicester, won at Leicester, drew at United. You know, we've had against big teams or teams in those top places, we've got a good record. So this was a fantastic result. Don't let anyone tell you any different.
No,
and by the way, they're league champions. The champions.
Exactly.
So,
no, and listen, the other side of it is that, you know, listen, you can throw all the excuses they want. Give them monkeys. But the point being is, if we were ever going to beat them at Anfield, it should have been last year. It should have been when, you know, in the FA Cup, when we should have been 3 up at half time and, you know, they had a portion of their kids out and all the rest of it. That should have been the opportunity to win it in front of 5,000-6,000 Evertonians. That should have been the game where you could make excuses for it. This was a Premier League game. This was a big Premier League game for both sides. And okay, there's no one in the stadium, but we're at the point now where it's nearly a year down the line since we've had no one in the stadium. It can't be used as that excuse for the opposition anymore. And football, listen, I'm the first to say football's not the same for me as a viewer to watch, but as a player, you should be used to it by now.
They didn't want to lose to us, mate.
No, of course they didn't.
You've seen it from the manager.
They've lost four games, home games in a row now.
5 out of 7 of them or something, or 5 out of 8 in the league. So,
but phenomenal start to the game. Just on the front foot straight away.
What did you, before you get into that, what did you make of the team?
Wasn't bothered.
No, because a lot of people were messaging me, this is a joke, what about? And I was like, listen, just see what happens. I was like, expect nothing from it. Just watch it and see what happens. And then, you know, we'll see, you know, this, or we'll see what happens. If we get beat, we get beat. If we win, fantastic. But you don't know. You can't lose your head because you don't think he's played the right plays. He knows.
I don't think it's a matter of who he plays. It's how they're set up. I've said this before. I said this last weekend to Fulham. Away from home, I don't have any worries about that we're going to be set up properly, that we're going to go after teams, that we're going to have
playing a certain
way. At home, I still feel like
anything can happen.
Anything can happen because we don't seem to pay enough respect to teams, and maybe we started doing that, we'd have well, put it this way, we'd have 3 extra wins and we'd be in the Champions League position. So that's something we need to sort. But the team was fine. Okay, Don was on the bench, fine. You know, whether it was he wasn't fully fit or whether the game plan was to bring him on after an hour and you know, let him have a good go at them. The freshness against their centre backs. And to be honest, I wouldn't be asked if it was Van Dijk now. I think Don would terrorise any of them. It wouldn't bother me. But we set up obviously in a certain way. But the most important thing was there was a you know, straight away you could see we were on it. Straight from the first kickoff, just knocking it back and getting a corner out of it straight away. Dealing with the wind and putting them under pressure straight away from the corner.
It was a chance.
But Godfrey, I know it more hits him than he hits him, But it's straight away, it's a chance you're making them nervous. They've got a young lad at the back, you know, they've got Milner there as well. Henderson, yeah. Straight away they looked a little bit nervous, and you know, within a couple of minutes, you know, balls bobbling in the air, you know, balls bouncing around, headed back. You'd see that they've got nobody in there that really, they looked petrified, some of those players, more than that we did. Again, we've got nothing to lose, and when you've got the class of someone like James Rodriguez to slip a ball in, Richarlison right at it, and the finish by Richarlison is phenomenal. It's the way he angles it into the corner, it's great first touch, and the way he really just angles it away from Alisson. And it's an absolute phenomenal start. Cop end, 1-0 up, and straight away their worst fears are being realised. Straight away, going 1-0 down. You know, like they did against Burnley, like they did against Brighton. Straight away.
City. You
know, City, they went one down. I know they got back on that, but straight away their worst fears are being realised. That, oh my God, this is a mountain to climb.
There we go again.
So that was hugely important. It was an aggressive start, a really aggressive start from us, and I think that's what got us off on the right foot.
I've heard the players saying that was the plan, to start quickly, which you think we should do with all games. Certainly at home, you know, have shots in the first minute and make the away team feel like they're under pressure. But we did do that, and it's a fantastic goal. Decore, superb, keeping it alive, making sure he's active, good header forward, and James Rodriguez first touch, and to it the pass as the ball sits up. You know, it brings it down as it drops. It's played in behind. It's a great run by Richarlison. He's offside, gets himself onside, and then spins again. And he's in behind, and you're right, sweep it across Alisson, 1-0, and it's I couldn't believe it when it went in. It was just incredible, you know, running around my living room like a lunatic, screaming. You know, my missus come in like, what, already? I was like, yeah, that's right. And then I'm thinking,
right, lad.
then I'm thinking,
big boy pants on.
Here we go.
Yeah,
a long way to go. But
88 minutes.
It was a great start. And you're right, you could see them kind of looking across at each other, thinking, oh, right, these mean business then. We knew they were going to have a lot of the ball. We love it when they have a lot of the ball. But from then it was a case of, right, we've got something like what we have now, we protect, we've got something to hang on to here. But what I thought we did really well was we knew they were going to have the ball. Yeah. But everybody was so disciplined at dropping in. You know, we had a formation that no one could understand. You know, people were talking about it's 5 at the back. Well, it was 4 at the back. With James playing split striker. James was up front, essentially, but he was able to drop in. You know, we had Seamus Coleman on the right and we had Luca Dean on the left. You know, when it was Gomez was to the left, wasn't he? Sorry, Luca Dean was there. But the way we shaped up, they were struggling because there was 2 banks of 4 to try and play through. And as long as we looked after the angled ball, which I think we did mainly, Dean got caught with one, but...
I think it was more wind in the first half, though, wasn't that? Wind was...
Well, Klopp said the wind was, you know, stopped them from playing, so... You know, I think it was.
But when you play that, the thing is, though, when you play that many long balls, it will stop you.
So we had to be wary of that because obviously we know the quality they've got with Mane and with Salah. Fantastic ability if they get in behind you. But we dealt with everything brilliantly, and the time that they kind of, you know, caused us problems, which was mad, was a little bit of an up and under by Alexander-Arnold, and it's a good header away from Keane. It's a tremendous volley from Henderson.
Superb.
Absolutely great volley, great technique. And Pickford pulls out probably the best save he's ever made in an Everton shirt, I would say.
Easily.
It was unbelievable, because when he left Henderson's foot, I thought it was in.
It was up. It's equal with the one he made against Stoke in his first game for Everton, which was an amazing to get us the 3 points.
On his debut.
No, it was like it was up there with like Nev versus Sheffield Wednesday, and against Spurs. It's not like being given the credit it deserves. That was in.
It was a fingertip save because it's in the net.
Yeah.
It's a great volley from Henderson, win behind it. It's perfect. Brilliant technique, like you said, hitting across it. And it's such a clinical save that they're the ones we want them to do. I've said this all along with Pickford, and people have agreed or disagreed with me. You've disagreed quite a bit at times. But everything's there. Everything is there for the kid. He's a good, really good goalkeeper. The problem Jordan Pickford has is his erraticness at times and his letting things get away from him. What he did Saturday, and I know we'll talk more about him later, but what he did Saturday was he was able to just keep it calm, and he just done his job, and that's a big save. And once we saved that, I think he grew, and I think our defenders did, and we got important blocks in, but we also carried the threat. We had a James Rodriguez free kick, which he made Alisson save, which I thought was, you know, the way he hit, I thought Luca Dean would have tried and bent it. And then we had that chance for Seamus Coleman, which was a brilliant move, you know, good move, good ball.
Defensively, like, you know, just going back to the defence, you know, Seamus Coleman dealt with Robertson, that was his job. Holgate was in there to deal with Mane.
Superb, Holgate.
And done his job brilliantly. And you know, we were set up to play one way going forward and playing another one defence. That's what you've got to do when you play good teams. It's a tactical battle. Individuals make the difference. We know that. Like, you can play perfectly for nearly an entire game, but you drop off for a second and you let good players get opportunities.
Man City,
you know,
the night.
Exactly. They'll hurt you because they're talented, very talented footballers. Yeah. And what we did was we stopped the opportunities from being made most of the time.
Michael Keane.
But the thing about it is, though, you can look at the whole game and you know, anyone watching that game, I know it's difficult because it is Liverpool for us, but you look at like the game against Leeds and, you know, other away games. That's how we play. That's how we play. So people
We're
watching
comfortable,
this,
aren't we?
So I do what I did think was interesting after the game was, you know, people did say, oh, well, Everton deserved this. You know, Everton deserved the win because I think it was important to understand that in a tactical battle, we did deserve to win. We didn't have, they might have had 70% possession, but it doesn't mean anything. It does not mean one thing. If you're winning the tactical battle, if you're winning all the little battles when they matter, and then that's your game plan. Your game plan is to only have 35% possession or whatever it is. If that's your game plan and it's worked, then you deserve it. So I'm glad that got noted and appreciated how we played. And you're right, it takes Michael Keane was. I give him man of the match. I know a lot of other people give pick for man of the match or whatever, but I give him man of the match because I just thought he was, like you saying there, he was just absolutely on it. And even when he made one little mistake in the second half, and yet come back and made the saving tackle against Mane. Everybody had to be on it. They all had to be on it, and you know, I thought he was absolutely outstanding the whole game.
I mean, he made a good block in the first half. I think it was Curtis Jones, or Firmino it was. Good. They had a good little move, and he got his body in the way of that. But he just dealt with everything, and then you're right, from that we had the platform to build from it, and out of possession we were 3 at the back. Yeah. You know, in possession we were 3 at the back, trying to get people wide to create the space, and when we didn't have the ball, we all dropped in. And we had that, like I said before, the move was fantastic, and great ball in from Luca Dean. If Seamus can just angle it, I don't blame him at all. He got his header on it, but if he angles it, it's 2-0. It's a really good save.
It reminded me of it very much reminded me of the Gomez chance a couple of years ago when we got beat 1-0. Yeah. It reminded me of that. I mean, luckily we were winning 1-0, but it just reminded me of that, like,
guilt-edged.
Really hope that doesn't come back and hurt us. I mean, it would have been...
It's a good save, though.
Yeah, it would. I mean, listen, it would have been a phenomenal goal. It was a great little move, a great ball in, and Seamus, you know, got in there, and if anyone deserves a goal in a derby and sort of to put his stamp on it, would have been him. Would have been lovely to have got 2-0 up in the first half.
But what I was impressed was, though, like you say, the first half, Pickford's had to make that worldy, and they've had shots from 40 yards that have gone over the bar and stuff. They didn't really have many clear-cut chances. It's second half, right, can we do the same? And we did. I mean, the only, you know, Andre Gomez I thought was really good for 35 minutes. Then he got the booking, and it kind of took his game away then, because he had a couple of little niggly fouls, and then you worried then, thinking, you know, one of these he gets wrong, he's off. You know, and we had the one on the edge of the box where he gets the ball and he hesitates, and they take it off him, and Firmino drags a shot wide, and you're like, right, we've got to make the change now. And I thought that's what Ancelotti did really well, where we questioned a couple of his subs against Fulham and Man City. I thought on Saturday, I thought he got it absolutely spot on.
I think what was this, going back to Gomez and Decore, where coming towards that end of the first half, they did start getting caught in, and Gomez more in the second half as well. They did start getting caught in stupid areas of the pitch where you can't really... Where Liverpool are at the best, when they catch you high up, and then they get into the front three. And that was really the only negative of the first half. Doucouré, brilliant getting around the pitch and everything, but there are times where he does give the ball away poorly. Just when there's an opportunity maybe to get someone going or... but we were just, I wouldn't say we rode our luck, because we didn't have to ride our luck. It was down to hard work. And going back to what you were just saying about the subs, what I thought was interesting, it felt like the subs where there was a plan for the subs as well. Where I've been a little bit critical of Carlo in some games as well, but it's not always his fault, because you look at the bench and you can't always, keeping someone like Dominic Calvert-Lewin up your sleeve isn't a bad thing at times. Putting the idea that Alan's not fit, clearly not fit, but it's putting the idea in everyone's head that he is fit. So it's like, is he going to start? Oh, he's not started. Weird. Well, he must be keeping him for the second half and keeping people on the toes. And that's maybe where Carlo's probably started looking at the bench going, well, I'm going to have to create players now. Maybe that's why he keeps on telling Gabaman's going to be back in 2 weeks. It's just like he wants to keep everybody going.
I think it was really good that we came out and switched back on though, because you'd always, what we're like with conceding goals in the first 5 minutes after half time. We've done it many times. And it was important to get, and I'd done that thing again, playing every 10 minutes in my head, just get through this next 10 minutes. But I thought we did really well. And, when Michael Keane makes that incredible tackle on Mane, it's unbelievable, gets done through the legs and he recovers with a fantastic tackle. And we did just get, Ben Godfrey a couple of times just let Mane run off him and get headers. Pickford's had to make a comfortable catch off one, and Mane just heads one over. I think that's Ben Godfrey just got to get a little bit tighter when he's playing centre back there, just know where people are running. I think that's just probably one little criticism of everything else. He done fantastic. That tackle on the edge of the box through Shaqiri. But we were superb. We were superb in terms of everybody getting back into those positions. And, we made the change at the right time. Gylfi come on. I've said this before. Once the game drops its level, Sigurdsson's a really good player to
It was a good crossover, actually, because obviously he brought Gylfi on, and I was like, oh no, Gylfi and Hammers. But they were only on the pitch for about 3 or 4 minutes, weren't they? Yeah. And then obviously you got Dom on, but
Hammers' numbers are brilliant.
I think, listen, that's actually how you use them, though. Yeah. You use Hammers for an hour in a game like that.
But the manager said he's not fit.
Yeah, so you use him for an hour in a game like that, and then you bring Gylfi Sigurdsson on, and like you've just said there, Gylfi Sigurdsson, when the pace slows down, and maybe having this don't forget as well, having that same kind of freedom that Hammers. That's what. Listen, Gylfi Sigurdsson, right? If you play him in a number 10 where he's a real number 10, and the game slowed down a little bit, Gylfi Sigurdsson's probably like one of the most skillful players that is about. But unfortunately, in the Premier League, I'm not talking about like
technique.
When you watch him when the way he keeps the ball sometimes.
He's got good
but in the hustle and bustle of the Premier League, playing in midfield, it's a bit different. But in a game like this, you bring him on an hour for the last half an hour, and you want to keep the ball or you want to have it in the right areas. That's a really good sub. It's a really good way. What you don't want is both of them on the pitch at the same time in the centre of the park.
I mean, the manager knew what he was doing. He took Gomez off. Hammers stayed just off Richarlison, hoping that we could catch them, nick them on the break. And I thought, actually, in the first half, if we'd have had Dom and Richarlison up front, we'd have nicked the ball off them a few times. Alisson under it about 3 passes to his full-back twice. It looked like we were going to get in.
Very nervy, wasn't he?
Because Hammers wasn't quick enough, it just got there. Whereas if we would have had Dom as well, we'd have been in on goal, because some of his Alisson, for some reason, he's been brilliant with his feet. But
I think, don't forget as well, though, with Henderson going off and...
Didn't you think they looked more solid though?
I thought they looked more solid. Don't get me wrong. I thought they did look. When he brought
if
that
Henderson
kid on,
would have stayed on, I think we'd have done them more damage.
No, but I think in terms of like defensively, I actually thought he looked more solid. But I don't think either of them wanted the ball off the keeper.
No.
And that's where. But that's where I'm saying if Dom against them, they didn't want the ball. They looked more like solid defenders. You can imagine Dom after both of them. Yeah. But I think it was important we stuck to the plan that he obviously wanted. Last half an hour, get Dom on and start running.
Well, that's another thing though, isn't it? It's that's happened to us a lot of times. Like you're 1-0 down and you go, who's coming on now? But it's normally us going. I mean, we've seen it with Man City last week. You're 2-1 down and Kevin De Bruyne is coming on and you just go, oh God, there we go. We were able to bring that. You know, I imagine a lot of Liverpool fans are like, oh, great, there comes Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Now he's got it, you know, he's in great form. Like when Kane come on against us the other week. It's that thing in your mind of, oh God, there's another one.
He's at that level now.
And he come on and he went on the right wing at the start and started winning headers, and then he just gave them something to worry about. And he had one early on where the ball gets played and he just outsprints them. And if he'd have just either hit it goalwards or cut it back, Richarlison's and he tried to step over it and it rolled out. But that was the warning for them, I think. But we did have to
just
go on, yeah.
Something I wanted to mention. Obviously, when he came on, we went more. It was become like a 4-3-1-2, didn't it? In a way. Is that a? Because let's be honest, right? Richarlison really likes playing up front, and you can almost see the freedom, like the shackles come off. Like the goal he scored against Tottenham last week, and this goal, finishing wise, and both goals he scored against Tottenham, finishing wise, in central areas. It opens up for him. I mean, and there's got to be a way, hasn't it, of getting those two back up front together.
Well, I've said before, I remember me and the Piv doing the video last season or whatever it was in the summer, saying he's actually a number 9 when you look at him, Richarlison, because he's if you get him close to the goal, he scores goals for you. I understand why we do play him on the left, but he'd have to, if he's going to stay there, we have to create a proper 3 so that he's closer to the goal. He really enjoyed himself in the 4-4-2 and scored goals.
He really enjoyed himself on Saturday.
I think we played James as a split striker at the weekend. So I think if the manager wants 2 banks of 4, there's no reason why Richarlison can't be the split striker, so that he's actually closer to the goal as well. But there is a way.
The way I look at it is, if you've got a right back who can do the job up and down, and you've got 3, if you've got 3 in the midfield, Decore, if you're looking at the current squad, Decore, Alan Davis, who do all the dog work for you, and then you've got Hammers in front of them, and then you've got those 2. I think against some teams we could have a lot of joy.
Don't forget, you can. Again, it's almost like you can cheat away from home with that formation because there's no emphasis on you to have the ball. So if you get them 2 and you almost go, listen, we're gonna go a little bit more direct here. We can get these in and round the back by playing them 2, giving a defence. I mean, we're seeing in the Premier League, the likes of Southampton have had loads of joy with 2 strikers, and other teams, we did it to a certain extent last season. If we would have had more mobility in our midfield last season with the 4-4-2, we'd have been fine. It was the problem, what caught up with Everton at the end was the mobility in the midfield wasn't great. We got overrun a few times. But it's certainly an option we can tinker with. Even with a 4-3-3, if you play it so that in possession, James comes in off the right, which he does anyway, and you say to the Richarlison, go and join Dom. So you've still got 3 behind James. Theoretically, your fullback only has to go to the halfway line, because what you should be then having is Abdoulaye Decore joining in. And if he's joining in by going on the outside of James, then you're still creating that run anyway. Let's be honest, most teams should be able to commit 7 men forward in an attack if you've got 3 people at the back.
Well, if they can catch up, yeah.
So that's the thing. So you're right, if we had a right back that could run up and down all day for you, that gives you an option. But even without that, we could still do it. We can still create that thing. But you're right, let's try and get Richarlison closer to the goal, closer to Dom, because them 2 working in tandem, people aren't going to like it. We've seen it. It was Spurs, wasn't it, where Dom does the little back heel and he takes a touch and it's in the net. Get him centrally and score goals.
It's definitely something I think. Again, it's funny because it worked so well last year, and then it was almost, I don't know, put to one side. And again, just on Saturday, you can just see in the last couple of games, Richarlison just looks a much more happier player.
He looks fit again now.
Well, he looks yeah, and I don't know where it all works in tandem, doesn't it? You can see he loves. It's not necessarily about being the main man. He just loves playing up front. That's where he wants to be. He wants to be in front of goal. But again, you see it for the second goal. I mean, the second goal again, it does. I think Michael Keane wins it, doesn't he? And then it falls to Tom Davies Tom strokes a lovely ball out. Richarlison's
He's on the turn.
spins the lads and he's away, and then he's running at them, and then Dom.
The pace, people haven't picked that. I don't think people have talked about that enough.
You know,
He just steams past everybody.
but the kid's ahead of him.
No, I know.
That's what makes it more impressive. The kid is ahead of him, and then it's like suddenly the afterburners kick in, the last bit of it, and Dom's away. It's a great ball by Richarlison. Times it so well,
ball.
and you're just thinking, can you get enough on it? Can you get enough on it to take it round the goalkeeper? You can't quite get enough on it, but it makes a good save, and it just falls, and you can just see Dom open goal, ready to tap it in. And he's brought down, and whether you like it or not, he was brought down. Not only was he brought down, he was hooked down. Referee gives the decision straight away. Is asked to look at it by Andre Mariner. Goes and gives it a little side glance and decides it was a penalty.
He almost laughs, the referee, when he sees it again. He looks at it once. He just goes, as if to say, like, I don't even know why you've bothered calling me over here, you clown.
Yeah.
I'm amazed. I'm absolutely amazed if anybody says it isn't a penalty.
But it should have been a red card.
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, I don't particularly like that rule. I think a penalty is maybe a booking and a penalty. I think it's a little bit harsh.
Well, no, because the rule is...
I know, I understand.
The rule is, if you don't go for the ball and you bring someone down, it's a penalty. So if he made an attempt to win the ball, which he wasn't, then he stays on the pitch, but he didn't. He brought Dominic Calvert-Lewin down. He should have been sent off. And somewhere in the thing, whether I don't know where he's decided because he's given a pen, that was enough.
Spirit of the game, apparently. That's what it was.
Spirit of the game, yeah. Because obviously that always applies to Merseyside derbies. Spirit of the game.
No, it was a penalty. I was amazed. Someone messaged me on Twitter saying, have a word with the Red Men, that's because they didn't think it was a penalty. And I was like, what? I couldn't believe it. So I went out and had a chat with them, and it is mad, people. It is mad that sometimes you can't see past your own team of like what's valid and what isn't. And I ended it by saying, if Dominic Calvert-Lewin hadn't gone down, would he have scored? Or rather, if Trent Alexander-Arnold isn't there, does Dom score? And you were like, yeah. I said, well, then it's a penalty, isn't it? Because he stopped them scoring. The hook is after it, and that just adds to it, which maybe is the reason why he probably should have been sent off, because he knew exactly what he was doing by hooking his leg. The stumble first, he's took Dom out, Dom's going to score. Doesn't matter whether it's accidental. If I chase you into the box and I slide, I'm not... If you're away from me and I boot you, then yeah. But if I slide, I'm going for the ball, aren't I? So it's accidental, isn't it?
Well, we've already seen one in the first half. Mason Holgate wins the ball, and it's followed through, took someone out. They got a free kick just on the edge of the box.
Yeah, he won the ball.
He won the ball cleanly. The ball went down there. He won the ball cleanly.
Yeah.
But his follow through takes him out, and it's a foul. Well, what's the difference? He wins the ball, and the follow through makes it a foul. Well, this lad slid, and he's took him out, and then you see the angle from the other side, and he puts his foot up and takes him out. Make sure he does the job, because he knows he's doing. Because Dom is going to have an open goal.
And he looks at the ref because he knows he's sent off. He knows he's off.
No one argued.
And it was, Klopp argued, but then that's by the back. But it was a penalty. It's probably, to be honest, probably the easiest penalty a ref's ever had to give. It was that easy. It was a stone wall penalty. There's not even a question.
Fair play to him for doing his job. No, but fair play to him, because enough don't. Loads would have used the opportunity of the VAR. So as soon as I seen him do the VAR, I thought it wasn't going to be a pen, because let's be honest, we've been there before, we've seen them before, and we all know the way it is.
I was watching on, like I said before, I was watching on the Zone. He went to Dermot Gallagher and he was like, penalty. He said, why are we even discussing it? It's a penalty, it's a red card. Didn't give the red card, which is fine, like I said before. It's done Liverpool a huge fan. I mean, if I was Liverpool fans, I'd just keep my head down, because he should have been suspended for the next game. But it was a penalty, and everyone was saying, Michael Owen, who doesn't say anything, was like, yeah, it was a penalty. He stopped them scoring, so it's a pen. And I've heard Mark Clattenburg today on the thing, we all know loves Everton and doesn't like Liverpool. Said it's not even up for discussion.
Thing is,
he said the rule is very clear. He said it's not even up for discussion.
That's the thing, no. So the rule is what the rule is. You bring someone down, there doesn't have to be any intent or anything. You bring someone down, that's it. The difference is the referees know, they take the emotion out of the game, and when they look at it again, it's
you don't have to. Would he have scored? If Trent Alexander-Arnold's not there, would Dominic Calvert-Lewin have scored? He would have. The keeper's laying down, the ball's free.
And
just
I'm gutted he didn't. I'm gutted
yeah,
he never got the
it's not
opportunity.
rather him being able to stay on his feet and tapped it in than we got a penalty. Yeah. But, you know, we didn't mention it, but just before that, Jordan Pickford's made another brilliant save from Mo Salah, coming out and spreading himself.
I was going to wait till we did the Pickford bit. But...
Well, that's fine, but I'm just saying within the context of the game, it was 1-0 when he did that, and then obviously we go and break and we get that, and it was, you know, you're waiting then, aren't you, and you're thinking, oh, here we go, because it's time's dragging on. And Gylfi, you know, he's got a bit of time to think about it. Yeah. Steps up and knocks it into the corner of the net.
That's the thing about the penalty. For him, it's not a normal penalty. He normally does that little wait till the keeper dive and puts it into the corner. And he didn't actually hit it with much pace. He just put it exactly where it needed to go, and the goalie's missed it by fingertips. And but I mean, the worst thing is though. The worst thing is you're 2-0 up at Anfield with 8 minutes to go, and that's that's even worse. That's like, oh my God, it's got the eyes of when the Undertaker's just been beating him like that. Yeah, like
you've got to get through that time, haven't you?
You've got something to actually
lose
here.
It's the thing of you just wanting to just get over something. Just don't mess this up now. Yeah. You know, we're 2-0 up. Just this time, don't mess it up. Just don't give them anything cheap, you know, when Mane throws himself on the floor. It was shocking. I mean, how he wasn't booked, I'll never know.
Clown.
You know, Platoon had already had to go when Luke and the referee just went. But what's annoying about that is...
They're getting away with it.
Ashley Barnes had been booked for Burnley for less in the day for diving, allegedly, and yet he's given all this. And the referee shakes his head and goes like that, get up. But there's nothing done.
Nothing done.
I know, I spoke to Paul from the Redmen before, and he's like, he's got to do that because he gets kicked so much, so he doesn't get. And I was like, no, mate, because it's. And he was like, what about Richarlison? And I said, well, Evertonians hate the way Richarlison goes down, and yet he never goes down like that ever. Yeah. Doesn't throw himself, arms don't.
Richarlison more likely.
He makes the most.
He goes down and stays down generally after he's been kicked. And I know sometimes but there's always Richarlison gets kicked off the park, and I'm sure Salah gets kicked off the park, but.
But Mane just feels it and he throws himself, and then Klopp wins, you know, because he probably can't believe he hasn't been given because they normally get them. So it's a bit, we had to ride that out, and you just then, you know, we've gone through that little bit of time. Then Origi comes on, and you're thinking, oh God, here we go. There's the nemesis. Yeah. You know, and really Everton dealt with it really well. Pickford come and took a cross brilliantly and fell on it, and it was just like. And then he obviously has to make a good save from Wijnaldum because that's like 92 minutes.
And then the only other thing was when Dean went down, you're like, number one, get up. I hope you're all right. Don't want to go down to 10 men. And then like, how much longer has been added to this? Because obviously it was the customary 5 minutes. It's always the 5 minutes.
3 minutes we got, didn't we, the other week? 1-0
It's always the 5 minutes when we're winning. And then, but listen, we dealt with it. And in fact, Gylfi has another, I mean, it's a half chance, but you just think if he'd wrapped his foot around it a bit more, that would have put
close, wasn't it?
That would have put the icing on the cake.
Oh, well, I think...
But you know what? Ultimately, I'd turn around to my missus during the game, I just went, these are crap. I'd be devastated if we don't beat these. So, because I watch... I
don't...
No, I'm not taking anything away from our performance.
I don't think they're crap. I think Everton defended superbly. I think the game plan, I think what probably flummoxed them was obviously we got ahead in the game. You know, I think one of the commentators said something like we've only ever led at Anfield for like 30 minutes in or 60 minutes in 20 odd games in the Premier League. We've only ever been ahead at Anfield. So to go ahead so early on and to get to that stage where, you know, Jordan Pickford's catching the ball and de-exaggerating, falling on it, and then you're thinking just, you know, they had a corner, didn't he, and off the Wijnaldum thing, and Firmino heads it over, and you're just like, right, kicked it. And what I'd said in the preview, you know, with Pickford, the advantage of that, his kicking was excellent, and it's like smash it down the pitch as far as it'll go. Even with 95 minutes, I was still thinking, just keep the clean sheet. And I'd said to you the other day, Zach had something else on, and his thing was like 30 seconds ahead of me, or 20 seconds ahead of me. I'm walking up and down the living room, praying and pacing and going, trying to get me steps in, breathing, and just going, please, clean sheet. And then he just comes in and goes, yeah, and the game's going on. So I just grab him and throwing him up in the air at the ceiling and everything, and then the whistle goes, and it was just that moment to just sit there and go, oh my God, this feels unbelievable. Because, listen, Liverpool fans can take the mickey all he wants that we celebrate They've done it, I've watched enough times. They celebrated like they've won the World Cup as well. But they've had big nights and won trophies. We haven't. And football, these moments come and go dead quick. We beat Spurs and we were all jubilant, and the next minute we got beat by Fulham, and it was the Tottenham game was almost like, it doesn't really matter, we've lost that. Got a bit of time to celebrate this, and it's such a big victory because football is about mentality. You know, they're the mentality monsters, aren't they? Or so they were called. But that was because they did win games like this, and it helped them go on what they were doing. Whereas for Everton, a lot of times we get into it, and we still did, we've done it with Fulham, we got into a good position and blew that. But so when you win these big games like that, it's a big tick, a big obstacle out the way. It does give you the extra belief, it gives the players that belief, and it gives us as fans that belief. And I think everybody now, or most people do, but I think some people just need to go, this fella who's like stood on the touchline, who's won Champions Leagues, and he probably knows a bit more than we do. He sees them every day. He's got a game plan. Let's just, do you know what? Everyone can go, I don't quite agree with what he's doing. I'm not saying you always have to agree with his decisions, because you don't. We're all football fans. We love our club. We watched it. But I think, like, don't stress so much on the team. Have a go afterwards. If we play crap and he's made bad subs and all that, then you can go, he got it wrong today because this happened. But beforehand, I think it just helps yourself as well. If you just look at it and go, just let's see how the game plays out. Because he had a game plan there on Saturday that everyone, including me, would have had Dom and Alan straight in that team. And the way he's worked it, even the Iwobi sub was good. You know, it could have been Josh King, because I've got to put him on. Put Iwobi on. Just go and do me a job. Just stay there and do me a job. Run around, track your runner. If you get a chance, just get rid of the ball. Because that's all we had to do, and it was a superb performance.
No, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. Yeah.
Let's have a look at
soak it in. Just soak it in.
Just take it. Well, let's have a look at the stats in the game, because you know, there they go. Yeah.
You know, shots on target, six each. Well, that's fine. That shows you how well we've played. Big chances. We had 4, they had 2. Possession 71%. Sound. That's why we like it. 279 passes to their 693. Again, that's fine. That's what we like. I have no problem with that.
It's sideways passes.
Yeah, I like it. Normally I like it more towards the 38% mark, but
yeah,
that's fine.
That's our sweet spot.
That's fine. I mean,
in the 6 games we've had over 60% possession, we've lost 5 of them.
Exactly.
So we don't like the ball.
We
just like to break and score. But we like to follow very much the Leicester City winning the league with 24% average possession in a season. That's dynamic. We're very efficient.
Exactly.
But I mean, listen, we talked about him before. We talked about him. I think we both said in the preview to this that we would play him, and it was a chance for redemption, maybe.
Big Jordan has blowy hair. Yeah, I mean, I mentioned it in my Start at 11 show about wanting them to play and having that opportunity for some kind of redemption, and he did, and you know what, like. Fair play to him. He was fantastic. It's probably one of his best all-time, all-round performances for Everton when it mattered most.
6 saves, 2 in the box, 1 punch, 1 high claim, and I think the hair. The hair was magnificent.
The hair helps. It suited the occasion.
The calmness.
Yeah.
But it was the calm performance from Jordan Pickford, which was it was the other stuff. It wasn't the save was brilliant and from Salah, but it was the other stuff.
But even like the save in the first half from Henderson, there was no big theatrics afterwards.
No,
it was just he went and took a drink. Maybe the drink's the thing. It's like the calming influence. Like it's
the psychologist.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like go and take a drink, take a deep breath, and be ready for the corner.
Yeah.
Rather than giving it all the big, fist pumps and all that you just made a big save. Because actually, all that's doing is taking your mind away from what you should be doing.
Yeah.
And it felt like there was a little bit of that on Saturday. There was a little bit of psychology, and there was a little bit of calmness after he had done big things, not to flap it for the next thing. Because we go back to the Leicester game. What did we say in the Leicester game? He pushes a ball out that's going already out for a corner. And then the ball comes in and he flaps at that, and then the lad gets a shot at, and it was like 3 things really quick.
Yeah.
Like his mind hadn't gone on from the next thing. And I just felt like on Saturday there was more of a level of concentration where he was just ready for the next thing, because he took the steps to just be ready. And that's what it's all about. It's that mindfulness of what's coming next. I've done something great, but let's not linger on that.
That's very much, that is very much a science, like a psychologist thing of like steps of how you...
Mindfulness, that's what it is.
You break it up and go, right, I've done that step. So it's almost like a bit of CBT.
Yeah, that's what it is.
What happens when you do that? Well, okay, so when you do that, golfers do it, and people who are doing the same thing always do this. It's why Johnny Wilkinson was, when he seen the psychologist, was do this, concentrate, get in the zone. I remember Aaron Wayne Rooney does the visualisation about knowing where the goal is,
visualise
and stuff like that. So it's good, and it was very, you're right, there was no nonsense from him, you know, getting up and hugging everybody. He was just like, quick, get in, he had a swig, get into position. And he done that a couple of times. I love seeing him taking a couple of crosses to the back post and just good handling and going down. And we just, you know, the occasions they did get in on, Mason Holgate made one fantastic clearance from in our 6-yard box in the second half. Alexander-Arnold put it across and he would have had a tap in and he'd wrapped his foot round it. But Pickford, excellent, absolutely.
Yeah, the save from Salah, when Salah got in, and he was literally in on goal, wasn't he? He come out big, made himself big, won it, and then got the rebound. And again, just the Wijnaldum one as well in injury time. You know,
focus. Just
making sure you're on it, making sure you're not going to get beat, because it was actually a really nice strike. The way it dipped, we just put it over the bar.
Yeah.
Just no worries. Yeah, but that's it, though, isn't it? That was where he went wrong a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Just get it out.
Just get it out, and we'll deal with the corner. We'll deal with that. That's the. Don't be thinking about what comes next. Be thinking about what comes now. That'll take care of itself, because that's someone else's job then. That's the centre-back's job. That's all the defender's job to deal with that. And we did deal with it. You've got to play what's happening at that moment.
Play what's in front of you.
I thought he played really, really well. But there was just that, because it was a big occasion for him. And I know, listen, it's a bit different because the fans are not there, but that's actually more important. It's actually getting through a game like that when there are no fans. So you are training yourself for when there are fans. We've done this before. We've done this.
Muscle memory,
we've done this. We've been here. We've got the 3. We've got, forget about. And that's also that idea of like block out all that noise anyway.
No,
he's no one really can ever say anything about. He's made. That Henderson save is as good as you'll see anywhere this season. They might be bigger and flashier or whatever, but that's in. Yeah. That's in. So that is in the back of the net. So unbelievable. And I thought he was brilliant. But the player I actually give man of the match to was Michael Keane. Let's have a little look at his numbers. Clearances 13, block shots 1, dribble pass 1, aerial duels 1, 3 out of 3.
They're just the basic facts, aren't they, from Keane? But he was brilliant. 13 clearances was unbelievable. He was in everywhere. And Everton defensively was superb. It was Salah, that one shot in the game, the fewest at Anfield this season that he's had. And Mane was tackled, lost the ball while dribbling. It's the most that he's lost the ball while dribbling in over 3 years, Mane, which just proves how good we were. And obviously Michael Keane has made that huge challenge on him, which, you know, he had a free shot at goal, chances are he knocks it in and he gets the toe back in. It was very reminiscent of the one in Salah, the same where he recovers and, you know, we get a point there. But he was fantastic, Michael Keane, headed everything away, got blocks in, concentrated, because you have to be switched on all the time. With those 3 up front, you've got to be switched on, you've got to defend your space, you've got to make sure you're doing your job. And Everton did, and he was the key component in all of that. Was that, you know, so many times he got his body in the right position, so many times he was well organised, and that's what you build from. If you've got defenders playing like that and doing their jobs the way he did, it gives everyone else a boost. Every other player in the Everton team there knew that he was on it, so you then start doing your job. You know, we also had 7 ball recoveries, Michael Keane, in the game.
No, he was superb. He set the tone for everybody else. He all day positionally, he was in the right place, whether it be on the floor, you know, or in the air. Not giving fouls away, not giving anything up cheaply.
100% of his header clearance is 6 out of 6.
it was obviously what the win was built on. And then you go into midfield and you've got players like Tom Davis doing all the doggy work, and Tom was magnificent again. He was absolutely brilliant. You know, he just did what he needed to do to help that back four, just sit in front of that back four and just do what needed to be done. And also, what I thought was good about someone like Tom on Saturday was when the ball did drop to him out around the box, there was a calmness to him. You seen it for the setup for the second goal. There was a calmness to it. He didn't just hack it away. No. Very rarely did we just hit it away and then wait for it to come back. Because we had James and then Richarlison, and then we had maybe more like Richarlison and then Dominic Calvert-Lewin. We had someone to collect the ball and then someone in front of that player, so they weren't ever isolated.
We did put our foot through when we needed it.
No,
and that's good to break the game.
No, but when you got someone like Tom, though, there was a. Funny enough, I think I mentioned this on my after match. I come in here on Saturday to pick up a camera, and I was listening to the Red Men, and they were talking about Scousers playing in a derby and having that something more to prove. And sometimes, like someone like Ross Barkley would change his game and start thinking he was a hard man, and whereas Tom just went about his business. There was no need, like you said before, Andre Gomez I think was the only player who got booked for us. So there's no one was going round clattering into people. We played the game, not the occasion, for the first time in many moons.
22 years,
yeah,
probably.
Many moons. So no one was going round kicking anyone or doing anything. Tom was just doing what he needed to do. He never went in. Every time we went in for a tackle, it was always, well, can I win it first? And if I can't, well, then don't go in for it. And I think that's him now showing that little bit of experience.
There was even one in the first half when he slid in and won the ball, and the referee gave a free kick, but he was like laughing with the ref as if to go like, come on, but the ref gave it. And it's having that thing of like not being like fired up where you can't see anything but red mist. He was so calm in possession, and the pass is brilliant for the second goal because he gives it to Richarlison, so that because Richarlison's turn, he's on the half turn, so he allows him to roll his man, which he does brilliantly by playing it instead of smashing it up to him or hitting it long. It's passed into him so he can get it and go, and that's how we broke and got the penalty. But he was excellent. His positional sense was brilliant, and seeing loads of Blues saying, oh, he was fantastic and all that, and that's brilliant. So I hope people are starting to realise that he's actually a good footballer and he can play in our team, and he's, you know, rather than and just get off his back, because he's seen how much it meant to him anyway, and his videos after it and the celebrations on the pitch. He's an Evertonian, he's a lifelong Blue, loves the club, and is now performing at a really good level. So I thought he was brilliant, and he was a key reason why we won as well, the protection he gave in front of the back four. So it was fantastic. Yeah. Absolutely amazing. Superb performance, superb victory. Just, feels great. Just sit there and just keep looking at the score. Yeah. Just keep looking. Not 1-0. The 2 with a little bit of cushion.
Just a really nice cushioned victory. First time since 86 that we've scored 2-0. Well, I know we scored 2
to win the game.
To win the game. But
2-0, yeah.
Comfortable. Nice, comfortable Saturday evening game. Beautiful. It's what you want, isn't it? It's what you want.
Great away for continues.
You know what? And to win the second derby as well.
Out the way.
We've got quite a long time till the next
it's
one
out
now.
The way, so. It's out the way.
Good old summer.
For 6 months, 7 months at least. So it's all good.
No, it is. Good. Enjoy it. And don't let anyone tell you that you can't enjoy it, because you can. And there you go. There you go. Yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments on this one anyway. I'm sure you will. I'm sure you've all enjoyed it. That was the only, it was like that's why I did the live at stream afterwards, and I just stayed on for over an hour, because I was like, what else am I going to do with myself? Like, let's get all the Blues in together, and let's have a little bit of a laugh together, because I was thinking I'll just be sitting there. Anyway, it was that. I suppose that was the only difficult thing of the night, but if someone had said to you that you were going to win a derby, but you had to be on lockdown, you would have took that, wouldn't you? Do you know what I mean?
It's out the way now, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's out the way.
It's done. Everything's reset. So let us know your thoughts in the comments. Please do. We're excited to see what you're going to say. How did you celebrate it? Let us know. Give this video a like. If you liked Everton winning, give this video a like. I mean, surely that's got to be worth it, hasn't it?
I would say so.
That's got to be worth it. I mean, we had 2,000 likes on the live video on Saturday night, so I'd
People
like
are
to think we
obviously
could beat
happy.
that, because this has been, you know, a bit more of an organised, you know, chat about the game. Subscribe if you haven't already. Please do subscribe as well. And if you want more videos, exclusive live daily videos. In fact, this video continues. We're doing this live on Patreon right now, and this video will continue. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a little chat about a few more things in the match, and we're going to get in. You know, the comments are going to come in from the patrons, which we're going to talk about live. So if you want to get involved on that when we do the final word, as well as live videos every single day on Patreon, join us on Patreon. The link will be on the screen. It's in the description as well. Enjoy, stay happy, and we'll see you later.